Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I am going to talk about Doctor Who. It's good to be back, I guess, talking about Doctor Who. It's been a while for me, at least, but obviously today I'm going to talk about a little short video, I guess a vertical video, which obviously was about Liam Neeson, about Doctor Who, or Liam Neeson was talking about Doctor Who and why he loved it when he was younger. So that's interesting. Let's watch that clip.
Sort of sci-fi was fantastic because it was very, very believable, you know? Oh, I used to love Doctor Who.
If you could kind of recommend some sci-fi genre horror films to kind of double bill with this film, what would you think would make kind of good companion pieces to watch alongside this?
I'm not a huge sci-fi.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot. Stanley Kubrick films and stuff, yes. That's going way, way back, you know? Remember The Thing? Yeah, that was a scary movie. And I was brought up on Doctor Who, you know, from 1963, 64, you know. And that sort of sci-fi was fantastic because it was very, very believable, you know. Oh, I used to love Doctor Who, you know.
So yes, this little short video is actually from Radio Times, and Radio Times is like a British news outcast or news channel or whatever. They make, you know, videos on all kinds of things. They do interviews and they do explanation videos. They're very nice, to be honest, but obviously they are also big Whovians because like a couple of their videos are about like Doctor Who themselves. So we have a interview, a 60-minute interview, I believe, with Carol Ann Ford, also one with Marigold, and a couple of other ones with other Doctor Who stars and other Doctor Who crew members and cast members. So there we go. That is very, very interesting. Obviously, what is that video about? That Liam Neeson video from, you know, where he talked about Doctor Who. That's actually from the marketing campaign, or like I would say a promotional video, I suppose, from the movie, the brand new movie of Liam Neeson called Cold Storage. This movie features obviously Georgina Campbell and Joe Keery, who you might obviously know as Steve Harrington from Stranger Things. This is a brand new, I believe, I would say horror science fiction movie. I'm not quite sure, I haven't seen it, so can't really can't really talk about it. But obviously Cold Storage looks very fun. It's about two, I guess, storage members or storage workers. They work in this big facility, and suddenly they discover that in their basement there's something going on, something science fiction-ish. So there we go. All right, very, very cool. So yeah, okay, that's really interesting to, you know, hear and see Liam Neeson talk about Doctor Who, and that he was a big fan back in the 1960s and obviously 1963 and 1964, where obviously William Hartnell was the Doctor. You know, Doctor Who is just a series, man. It's just a television show, and it's really interesting that, you know, big stars are also big fans of it. Obviously, there are a couple of like talks that Ryan Gosling is also a Doctor Who fan, and there are a couple of other ones, right? Especially like British, you know, people. But it's really fun to see that, and you know, just, you know, makes me smile, and to make, you know, us as the Whovians, that's what we call ourselves, the Doctor Who fans, just smile. You know, it's really great to see like a big star talking about Doctor Who and why he loved it back in the day. It gives us hope, I suppose. So alright, there you go. Speaking of Radio Times interviewing other Doctor Who cast members and crew members, they also interviewed Mark Gatiss, or they, you know, tried to ask some questions to him about the new future of Doctor Who, which is really interesting.
I haven't a clue. I was as shocked as everybody. I mean, it's a bit... Russell does chutzpah like no one else. So I think I don't know much about what happened. That if NCUTIGATWA was going to do 3 years but only did 2, it was certainly a surprise that he was going, wasn't it? So, well, it's not the ultimate cliffhanger, isn't it? It's like Sherlock in the Wreck-It Back 4. It's like, well, this is a big one. And, I mean, in a funny kind of way, it absolutely bookends the 2005 new show onwards. It's all about Billy, and then guess what? So I haven't a clue. All I know, there's a Christmas special this year, isn't there? Christmas special. And after that, who knows? It's used to Star Wars, isn't it? Like, you go, well, they are, but
it's never going to be Star Wars. So what it is Doctor Who, and I think that's the key. It doesn't matter. I mean, it looked great. The Disney money obviously did something, but in the end, it's essentially a spooky show, it's a weird show, and that's I think what I've always adored about it. It's not like anything else, and actually, when it tries to be like something else, it's not Doctor Who. And I think in the end, the thing to absolutely cherish and cling on to is that it's very much its own thing, and that's why we've always loved it. My God, it's
We
Stephen.
also have this brand new article about it. So there we go. But they also have a couple of clips that I also saw in the video of Thetis. I think that's how you pronounce his name. That's another Doctor Who, YouTube creator. So you also talked about it, and it's, it's a coincidence because I really wanted to make this video. And I was like, oh wait, okay, this is actually a video. So I'm going to play a couple of, segments of that video in this video. So, Mark Gatiss talking about the future of Doctor Who. And he said that it's a big surprise and a big twist that obviously Billie Piper turned into the brand new Doctor. And he doesn't really know what's going on, right? And what the future is for Doctor Who.
Well, it's not the ultimate cliffhanger, isn't it? It's like Sherlock in the Writing Back Forward. It's like, well, this is a big one. And, I mean, in a funny kind of way, it absolutely bookends the 2005 new show onwards. It's all about Billie, and then guess what? So I haven't a clue. All I know, there's a Christmas special this year, isn't there? Christmas special. And after that, who knows?
Obviously, who is Mark Gatiss? Mark Gatiss is a writer and, I guess, creator of Doctor Who. He has been in the Doctor Who family since, I think, back in the 2005 era. So there you go. He wrote a lot of episodes. I think a couple of them throughout all the Doctor Who eras throughout the last 20 years. So he wrote an episode for Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, a couple of them, Matt Smith, a couple of them, Peter Capaldi too. Also one for, I think, is it Jodie's Doctor? I'm not quite sure. Could be. But anyhow. So that's really interesting. And Mark Gatiss, you might also know him from the Fantastic Four film, where he played Ted Sullivan or Ted whatever, the show, the co-host show guy, which obviously was a little nod to the Beatles, the Beatles interview back in the 60s. But anyhow, Mark Gatiss was in the Fantastic Four film and is also a writer on Doctor Who. He wrote a couple of great episodes, but also a couple of them that are very mediocre or at least kind of okay. But at least he wrote a couple of them, so he knows what's up, right? He knows how Doctor Who is. And funny thing is, he actually played the Doctor once in a little comedy sketch back in the 90s, which is really interesting.
Yes. Hello. Can I help you? Yes. I'm bad. You're bad. Yes.
It's a really funny little sketch, making fun of Doctor Who and, the Doctor and the TARDIS and like the villains that he encounters. So there we go. But yeah, Mark Gatiss is one of those creators that I, get inspired by. I'm not quite sure, especially on Doctor Who, the Doctor Who area, because he's been around, he's probably going to be around, and I think hopefully he's going to write a couple of other episodes. He was also in the Twice Upon a Time episode, right? Featuring, obviously, David Bradley as the first Doctor and Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor. So there we go. But that was fun. Mark Gatiss interviewing about Doctor Who, or, Mark Gatiss, asking questions or answering questions about Doctor Who. It's so fun to see him. He's just very enthusiastic about Doctor Who, and because it's one of his favorite things in the world, he gives answers very enthusiastically. So there we go. That's really nice to see. So I was also scrolling along those other interviews for Cold Storage, and obviously, like I said, Georgina Campbell is in the film and Joe Keery, and it's really interesting to see this, I guess, I would say combination, because Joe Keery is a very young man, Georgina Campbell too, she's also like 30 or something, but I was stunned by her beauty.
I really loved the script, and I was excited about doing something that, has a lot of comedy in it. I was really excited by that, and that it's very fun, and it's a boisterous movie. Yeah.
Good word. Yeah, it is a boisterous movie. I agree.
Dude, I've got to say this, okay? I saw this interview, I was like, wow, she is really, really beautiful and pretty. So there we go. And the thing that I didn't even know, she's British. I was like, hold up, wait, let me cook. All right, imagine Georgina Campbell as the Doctor. I know it's not really a thing or whatever, There are no leaks about it, but just imagine this, okay? Imagine a world where Georgina Campbell is a Doctor Who variant, right? A Doctor Who incarnation. Obviously, she ticks off the box. She's British, right? And I would say she's a really interesting actress. I've seen her in Barbarian. I haven't seen her in Cold Storage yet. But obviously, she's like a scream queen. And that's like a term that is given to like women, or I suppose girls or women, right, in horror films, right? And yes, would be really interesting to see Georgina Campbell. I think she would look pretty as the Doctor, but the thing is, the Doctor is kind of whimsical, kind of weird at some points, and I'm not quite sure if she has like the I would say the elements to be weird. I think, not to give her hate or whatever. I think she would be very beautiful as a Doctor, but I think she might also miss a couple of crucial elements for a good Doctor. But obviously, never say never, right? Doctor Who is now in a really, really weird and bad spot, right? We're having a Christmas special at the end of the year, but we don't really know what's going on afterwards or what's going on in the future. And I would love to see and love to theorize about different people being cast as the Doctor, even if they are a far stretch, right? It's really interesting and really fun to talk about. Okay, maybe this actor or this actress could fit in the role. And Georgina Campbell was like, okay, yeah, maybe she could, right? Maybe somehow, some way, in an alternate universe, she could be the next Doctor, right? So anyhow, she's really fun, and seeing her in interviews makes me smile. She's like a really young and very enthusiastic, actress. And yeah, sure, okay. NCUTIGATWA was also a far stretch for me. I was like, that's never going to happen, but it happened, right? And now, obviously, BILLIEPIPER is back as the Doctor. And people are like, wait a second, this is not how it's supposed to go. Suppose anything can happen now in the future of Doctor Who. So, yeah, we just need to wait and see. And obviously, I'll make videos on it and about the future of Doctor Who. But now we just need to wait and see what's going to go, what's going to happen in the, Christmas special of 2026. There are, like, rumors and reports that a couple of different versions of the script have been written. I guess that only makes sense because BILLIEPIPER is now obviously filming Wednesday season 3. David Tennant is like in a brand new television show. NCUTIGATWA was probably doing something around just working, I suppose. So yeah, Russell T Davies has his work, cut out for him. So hopefully we're going to see some updates, news, and leaks, rumors concerning that too in the coming future. So, alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this rather interesting video, I would say, talking about like interviews and stuff like that. At least I'm keeping the Doctor Who spirit alive, right? And it's really, it's fun. I love Doctor Who, so I don't mind making videos about it, even if they're really, I would say, random. But whatever, man. It's okay. So, alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will check you later. Or should I say, Doctor, I let you go. Allons-y.
Well, Russell does chutzpah like no one else. So, I don't know much about what happened. If NCUTIGATWA was going to do 3 years, but only 2, it was certainly a surprise that he